The first round of fixtures are 100% complete now. I have here some of the notes from the fixtures, and they are as follows. Danny, I will pay you 60,000 gold pieces if you make sure that I look good in the league. Anyway, we won't look at those for too long. But let's just get right into the tables, and we'll start with the Premier Division. First round of fixtures have been played, and as we know, the Chaos Dwarfs beat the Amazons. To be expected, given the Chaos Dwarfs have a team that is bespoke made to deal with an Amazon team. But they failed to make any lasting injuries. They failed to score many touchdowns, which is good. The Amazons should have a much better time against every other team in the league that are devoid of tackle, although there is going to be a interesting clash with the Chaos Chosen team, which should probably be renamed to the Guard Chosen team, because he chose Guard almost everywhere. But no. Second, we've got the Roaring Juniors, who are imitating pretty well so far the Roaring Rovers from last season. Although, we'll see if he can last for the rest of the season. He played the Monster Mashers in Nurgle. It was a very hotly contested game, and unlike the counterpart to last season, which was Mother's Love versus the Roaring Rovers, that game ended into a 3-1 victory, I believe, to the Roaring Rovers. But the Roaring Rovers did suffer a number of casualties. The Roaring Juniors failed to suffer any casualties, which is a very, very, very good sign. Whether it carries through, we'll see. So they seem to be scoring less, but keeping everyone together, which is what we like. Then the final fixture was the Chaos Chosen versus the Chaos Renegades. It was an all-chaos tie, but different types. That ended up in a deadlock. Broken nearly at the end of the game, because the equalizing touchdown was in the turn 16. Chaos Chosen probably should have won, but that's the difference when you've got a slightly weaker team with more speed. They have the ability to make the difference later in the game. So, you can see that. I'm going to take you boys now to have a look at how things are lining up elsewhere. Oh, look at it. So, topping the scoring charts, we currently have Morhoff from Black Spike Feet on 2. We have Bad Boy from the Roaring Juniors on 1. Yavert from They Break Your Legs on 1. Jesse from the Monster Mashers also on 1. We have Mike Hunt from the Chaotic Outcasts on 1. And we have Worst Boy from the Roaring Juniors also on 1. Completions, there was only one completion, and that is from Sheila, from Skull Splitting Sheila's leader getting on the leaderboards. And in casualties, we only had 4. And considering last season there was nearly 50 individual casualty dealers, it seems this season, despite having just as many ashy teams, it looks like we're actually going to be having a much less casualty-induced season. Although early doors don't share all tales. We have Jean Valjean on 1 from They Break Your Legs, along with Mufasa from the same team, also on 1. We have Smash and Grab from the Chaotic Outcasts on 1, and Cinderbreath from Black Spiked Feet on 1. We shall see how that develops going forward. The next team to look at is the Lilly-May Segunda division. As looking at the top of the table, the Badlands Black Orcs won their game against the All-Orc tie, only scoring 1 touchdown. But the difference is, and the reason why they're top of the leaderboard, is they got 2 casualties. Pretty damn good. Dwarven team, the Memento Moris, also won their game, and they scored 2. Conceded 1 though, so touchdown difference was the same, but they didn't get enough casualties to make themselves higher in the leaderboards. And then propping up the winners section of the Lilly-May Segunda division, we have the Hodgepodge Villains, who took on last season's Wooden Spoon shit out of Lookers the Hairy Rainbows, formerly the Hairy Faries. But credit where it's due to Tom. He only conceded 1 touchdown. He conceded no casualties, although didn't deal any himself against some halflings, which some would say was a free shot, but oh well. There is definitely improvement, which is commendable, but will it continue? Looking at Tentacles R Us and the Blue Shorts boys, both I would consider unlucky, and I would expect most of this division to be picking up some decent points throughout the season, so we'll see if some of these losses are just unlucky or anything further. Looking at their score charts, starting with the touchdowns, we have Cornered Butler from the Memento Mori scoring 2 touchdowns. We have Fancy from Tentacles R Us scoring 1. We have Snotslinger from the Badlands Blackhawks scoring 1. And we have Shufflefoot from the Hodgepodge Villains scoring 1. We have, on the passing charts, we have Bully Oakgruff with 1. Although it is unusual to see that passing halflings counts these days as passing the ball. But we'll allow it because it's interesting. And then looking finally at the CASs, the same as the Raki Kuriko Primera Division, we have Selwyn Kissa on 1 from the Memento Moris. We have Thundersnork and Treadfoot from the Badlands Blackhawks, both getting 1 each. And we have Drim Grown from the Blue Shorts boys on 1. It is far, far, far too early to tell where teams are going to end up. I would say we need to at least wait till game week 3, but next week, this Tuesday coming up, the 12th of July, we are not having a league fixture, remember people. This is going to be a cup fixture for the Halfa Legg League Cup. Both myself, Liam, Stuart and Carl are all exempt and got a bye into the next round for finishing in the first 4 places last season. So, the 8 teams up fighting are as follows. We have the Badlands Blackhawks of the Lilly-May Segunda Division taking on the Monster Mashers of the Raki Kuriko Primera Division in an interleague tie. We have an all Lilly-May Segunda Division tie in Tentacles R Us taking on the Hodgepodge Villains. We have a further fixture, if I just move this down. Interleague fixture, we have the Raki Kuriko Primera Division's Roaring Juniors taking on the Blue Shorts boys. And then propping up the fixtures, oh my god, that is gone massive. I'll zoom it out here so you can see at the bottom we have an all-dwarf tie from the Lilly-May Segunda Division. We have the Hairy Rainbows taking on the Memento Moris. It's the battle of the shorties. But which one's got game? We'll find out. But I expect, and let's get some, because I am out of this round, let's get some predictions from the commissioner, the league spokesperson, and fellow coach. I predict the Monster Mashers, the Nurgle team, are going to come out on top against the Badlands Blackhawks, but I expect it to be a heavy-fisted game. Tentacles R Us against the Hodgepodge Villains. I would expect Tentacles R Us to win, but it wouldn't surprise me if this game goes to overtime and then the Hodgepodge Villains to lose in overtime just for the sheer fact they would be losing players left and right. In theory. Blue Shorts boys against the Roaring Juniors. It's gonna be another one I predict will go to overtime. But I would expect the speed of the werewolves from Bad Boy and Worst Boy to come out on top. In the Old Dwarf fixture, the Memento Moris against the Hairy Rainbows, I would put my money on the Memento Moris. But I would like to think that the Hairy Rainbows might get their first ever touchdown in this game. I would like to think. But I'm not... I am a betting man. But even I wouldn't bet on that just in case. So to round this up as well, because these are the first games that cannot and should not end in ties, there will be overtime, as I have mentioned, and the way this will work for the T-GOW League is as follows. If the game, after turn 16, ends in a tie, it will immediately start a new drive in which the first team to score wins. It will be a single drive and it will not stop until someone has scored. The person who kicks and or receives will be based off who kicked and received in the second half. So, as an example, with Blue Shorts Boys and the Roaring Juniors, if the Blue Shorts Boys attacked in the first half, they would defend in the second half. That means in the overtime, they would attack. So there is going to be some strategy into whether you want to go first or second if you expect the game to reach overtime, because it will just tick over. And whoever has the ball, in theory, will have the advantage, because it is first touchdown wins and there is no clock. First goal wins. Good luck, everyone. See you all Tuesday.